hookup culture, the excitement and the aftermath. Now, I've made a video similar to this, but I feel like this is a subject that you can never really touch on too much. You know, every once in a while, I like to touch up on this subject. And the harsh reality is the hookup culture is pretty much the new dating dynamic. There's really no such thing as dating per se anymore in a traditional sense, where the gratification was delayed and people weren't out to get over on each other, right? Because part of hookup culture is the anxiety, the depression, and malicious intent towards the other person. That's why you get all these games being played and you get ghosting, flaking. This is all part of hookup culture, and I will get to that in a minute. So, I'm 31 years old, and throughout my whole life, I have grown up with the group of people in my surroundings, my area. And I've seen firsthand, whether it was my friend's single mom or whether it was my friends that grew up to be single parents, I have seen the cause and effect of the hookup culture, right? And I'm no stranger to this, and I'm also no saint. I have a son, right? I have an 8-year-old son, and I am a father. But reflecting back on the whole hookup culture, how it was packaged in this glamorous way, you know, it's packaged by society as this glamorous way that's just gonna last forever. The party's gonna last forever, right? Like the Prince song, you know, party like it's 1999, like the world's gonna end. Don't stop partying. And the harsh reality is, of course, everybody knows this in the back of their head. Of course, everybody knows subconsciously that the party is going to be over at some point. But at the same time, no one ever does think about that. Because if you look at the actions of modern day society, there seems to be no thought of accountability or repercussions. So in the beginning with hooking up, it's excitement. You go out, or maybe you have a group of friends and you meet somebody new. You guys have an instant attraction. You guys have an instant spark. You guys hook up. And the thing about it is, this has happened on either side, on the male side or the female side, especially on the female side. This has happened numerous times. This scenario has happened dozens of times. And let's be honest, nowadays, hundreds of times in some cases. Because I know some young ladies that have a body count of upwards of 80 different men. And this is just what I know about, right? And these young ladies, this is something I have witnessed, because the red pill channels, as we all know, are echo chambers. But sometimes I kind of doubt if they actually saw this in person. But I have seen these young ladies switch different boyfriends. And when I say boyfriends, I'm just using that word because that's what they claim that those guys are. But we all know they're not really her boyfriend. He's just some guy that's giving her pipe, and then leaving, right? I have known young ladies that switch out boyfriends almost every other month. Every other month, there's a new guy. And then a couple months down the line, a couple years down the line, there's another baby. And this is fun. This is exciting, hooking up when they're in their 20s, in their prime. Everything is gravy. The VIP section is jumping. The bottles are pouring. The liquor is being drunk. The weed is being smoked. The pills are being swallowed. The sex is great. And there's no thought of any foresight of the future. The cheating is rampant because the options are just numerous. And these young ladies, they grow up. And I've seen this with my own eyes. Like I said, most of my friends, and I grew up in the urban part of Houston, Texas. Most of my friends grew up with single mothers. And I would say almost all of them have siblings from other daddies. So it's a multiple father household, except the father is absent. See, no one thinks about this repercussion, right? And the moms, don't get it twisted. When I was a child, they treated me like I was one of their kids. They treated me like a son. So for that, I'm forever grateful. They were nurturing, very kind, even though I wasn't their son. But at the same time, I knew in the back of my head that something is wrong with this picture. Something is wrong with this young lady having multiple children from multiple men, and every other month she has a new man in her life, right? And a lot of these young ladies that I grew up with, I'm not talking about my friends' mamas anymore. I'm talking about the young ladies that I grew up with. They indulged greatly in their young years. They cheated on their boyfriends, disrespected their boyfriends, went out clubbing when they were in relationships, hooked up with other men that weren't their boyfriends while they were in a relationship. And this built up over time. See, every time a young lady acquires a body, it is a stain on her soul. And some people, I've said this before, and some people think it's ridiculous. They think I'm just talking some kind of spiritual mumbo jumbo, until it's evident that when these young ladies get in their upper 20s, their 30s, they start becoming very bitter towards men. Their whole attitude towards men is very negative. They look at men in a very negative and very unflattering light. But this is just the consequences of the hookup culture. After the lights turn off, after the bottles run dry, after all the weed is smoked, after the prescription pill bottle is empty, what's left? What's left but a legion of depressed, lonely women, right? And men too, let's not get it twisted, because a lot of men participate in this hookup culture. Then they get older and they feel empty because they realize this whole prepackaged notion of hooking up that was in this glamorous package was not all that it was cracked up to be. Then they end up marrying a woman that's also been scorned, and they have a miserable life ever after, because both of them just went about things in the wrong way. And just to preface this isn't a knock on anyone, because all of us were sold the same bill of rights. All of us were sold the same dream. All of us fell into this trap. So guys, please be careful when these alpha male channels tell you to hook up with multiple, will have a 10 girl rotation and sleep with 30 women a month. Yeah, we can get away with it easier. This is a fact. We can get away with it a little more easier. We can get away with hooking up a little more easier. It does not affect us as much. But if it didn't affect us, as these alpha male channels claim, then why are there so many men that are heartbroken? Why are there so many men that come on here and make these alpha male videos and they seem like they're very pissed off and bitter? If hookup culture only affected women like that, then why are there all of these videos of these men speaking out against these women that broke their heart? Do you see what I'm saying? And some of these chicks were girls that they were dealing with on a hookup basis. So it takes two to tango, right? But for the young ladies, there is going to be a time when they fight. It's probably never anytime soon, right? But there will be a time where they realize that hooking up with dozens of men is very detrimental to their soul. And like I said, I personally know many young ladies that have been affected by the hookup culture, and they thought it was all fun and games until they grew up to be emotionally wrecked. They can't trust a man. They have random outbursts of crying. They're on anxiety pills. And there's some young ladies that told me that they're on anxiety medication. Some that told me that they had to smoke weed just to calm their anxiety, because they just have so many men, and these men are a revolving door of drama. I hope you like this podcast. Let me know in the comments, and let me know what you think.